to Olde Thyme Knits. This is episode 4. My name is Marie, and I'm coming to you from central New Hampshire. You can find me on Instagram as Olde Thyme Knits and on Ravelry as Olde Thyme Knits. And this is my knitting podcast where I talk about all the good knitting and yarny, yummy stuff. I talk about what's on my needles, what's off my needles, and what I'd like to get on my needles. I also talk about things that I may have acquired along the way, be it yarn or patterns or any other fun thing that happens along the way. So if you think this is something you'd enjoy, then come on in and let's get started. All right, I'm going to talk about what I'm wearing. I am wearing I call it a scarf. It's called Steel Bridges. It's by Martha Weising Designs. I made this a couple of years ago. I'm going to stand up real quick so you guys can see. It's pretty long. I really like this. So I did modify the pattern. I think I only went part of the way across because I always say that I don't really like a big, thick, bulky shawl up under my neck. And if that's your thing, that's okay. But for me personally, I like something that's going to wrap and drape a little bit. So I'm going to take this off. It's kind of hard to show. It's really, really long. I did this on a US 4. I got it doubled in crabapple yarns. Gosh, I'm blanking on the current name right now of that, but this is a paid for pattern, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. But you start here in the center and you do one whole side, and then you go back and you put these stitches back on and you do the other side. And I really like it because it's so drapey. I try to find yarns that have the quality in them. And also it's not itchy and it's not hot. It's a super nice accent. And even if, you're just being very casual like I am today, I just have a basic shirt on, and it seems to, work out just fine. It kind of jazzes it up a little bit. So yeah, that is what I'm wearing. I made this actually a couple of years ago, but I wear it all the time. It's a great fall color. Can't think of the name, but I'll link it down below. And if I forgot to say that, I will link everything that I talk about, all the project bags, all of that stuff down below in the description box. So, all right, let me see what else we have going on. It's time for what's off the needles. So I'm going to talk to you about a couple of finished objects. And my first one was a whip in my last podcast, and it is my granddaughter's little socks. These are a DK sock, and they are Regia 6-ply. So if you want a thicker sock, you have to get the 6-ply, not the 4-ply. I have all of the information on how I did this in my project page, which I'll link down below. But this is just a 40 stitch cast on, 10 rounds of cuff, 2x2 rib, 10 rows of stockinette, heel flap and gusset, and then I just knit all the way down and did a rounded toe. These Regias and some of these other self-striping commercial yarns are awesome. This is a workhorse yarn. These are going to last really good. It does say it's machine washable, but I try to get it so that my kids and my grandkids don't do that. We'll see how long they last, but I don't know if they get thrown in the dryer. These ones would probably stand a better chance than some of the other yarns that we use. So yeah, that was a real easy knit. She's anxious to get them, so I told her she couldn't have them until I podcasted. So yeah, and there are 2 of them. Super cute yarn. What a great little girly yarn that is. So yeah, that was my first finished object. And then my second finished object is called the Side Hustle Wrap from Shayna Lines Designs. And I did this for a sample. I knit a sample for Michelle of Woolens and Nosh. I met and introduced myself to Michelle at the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival, which I will talk a little bit more about later in the podcast. But she had her booth set up there, and I'm a fan of her self-striping. She's amazing with her self-striping, and I did a couple of podcasts back, I did a pair of socks called Fancy Schmancy Pumpkins, and it's a self-striping DK weight, and that's really what turned me on to her, was the fact that she had DK weight in sock yarn. You know, some of the DK weights are thicker, and hers is not so thick that when you make socks you can't put them in your shoes. So I really liked that. Plus it's self-striping, which is always so fun. I love doing those. But anyway, back to the wrap. So this is huge, and I don't even know if I'll be able to show this to you. I used Michelle's yarns, excuse me, in her Tweety DK base. All right, here we go. And here it is. It is huge. It just goes on and on and on. What? Honestly, I was so surprised when Michelle asked for this, because it's not like anything I've ever done before. In fact, this kind of reminded me of a Stephen West pattern a lot, but it really was not a hard knit. And one of the things that I did on this that was new to me was an I-cord cast on, which I've never done that before. It was pretty cool. You do an I-cord, and then you pick up along the side of it, and then just start knitting. So a lot of garter stitch, a lot of short rows in these sections. A very, very easy knit. I was really surprised. And it also has I-cord edging built in along the way, which is a great feature, because when you do garter stitch, then you don't end up with all of that you know, jagged edge along the sides. I don't even know how to put this on. Oh, I've got my other thing on. Let me get that off. Sorry. Okay, but it is crazy big. I'm gonna stand up so you guys can see it. It's huge. It has a so cozy. So cozy. So the yarn is Michelle's Tweety DK base, and it's 85% superwash merino, 15% Donegal. So it has the little neps in it, if you can see that. It is the squishiest thing. So this will be a sample for her to use in her booths when she's vending, and I will be bringing it to her at the Woolen Folk Show, for the Woolen Folk Show, which is this Friday in New York. So that was a really fun thing to do. It was such a pleasure to meet Michelle. She's really sweet, and we've been communicating back and forth throughout this whole process. So I started this on last Thursday, and I finished it Monday. So I was basically married to the thing for 4 days. And I was good with that. I really was. It was an easy knit, so it didn't require a whole lot of constantly thinking. But I will tell you, there are 21 sections along this whole wrap, 21. And around section 15, 16, I was starting to get to the point where I've had enough of this, but I pursued and got it done, and Michelle was so excited. So this will be in her booth at the shows, and she just came out with all of these colors. I cannot tell you the names of the colors because the yarn came untagged. Just a second. Oh, sorry. But I will show you a tag from another yarn. This is her tag. Hope you can see that. Whoops, sorry. Focusing. Anyway, but these colors are the solid, or the tonals that she's doing to match her self-striping. So these three colors are in the Fancy Schmancy Pumpkins colorway that I used on my socks. So they're beautiful, and like I said, this yarn is so soft. So anyway, that was a really unique thing. I've never done that before, and it was a lot of fun. I offered to do that for her, and you know, it was, whew, that was a lot of knitting. So I was happy when it was done, and it was a lot to block. It took up the whole table. So anyway, I will put footage of that. I videoed it when I had it on the blocking mats, because I wasn't sure if it was going to actually be dry for me to show it on the podcast. So, all right, let me see what else I can rustle up. Alrighty, so what's on the needles? In my last podcast, I talked about my Wave of Change jacket and the dilemma that I had. I did not have enough yarn. I miscalculated when I ordered yarn originally for it, and I was worried that I was not going to have enough and I wasn't going to be able to finish it. So I contacted them. They could not get me more yarn in the bulky, and so I ordered a couple skeins of DK and decided I was going to try and double it, hold it double, and see if I could finish my sweater. So here it is. It's always so hard to show. This is my Wave of Change jacket by Denise Byron. I am using Expression Fiber Arts in the buttery bulky base. And it's so hard to show this color. It's in that's a pretty good. It's in the Timekeeper colorway. So I currently have 2 sleeves done, and I'm on the body. I'm not far. I have a little bit longer to go. Actually, I just started the ribbing on this because this is not supposed to be a long sweater or whatever. But I didn't want to make it too short. It's hard. I always, like I say, I always have to add length to it. You know, we're not quite there yet. So where I ran into trouble was I only had enough yarn to bring me to the cuffs. Yes. And then I ran out. So then I doubled DK, and I just did my cuffs from here to the end in DK. And I only had enough to bring me partway down the body. And so then I substituted DK, doubled, and you really can't tell. And I'm super happy with that. The color seems to be okay, and yeah. Anyway, I think I'm gonna squeak by with being able to do that, and next time I do order yarn for a sweater, I certainly will be super double checking. I don't know what I did there, but anyway, I wanted this to be done for Rhinebeck, but it's okay. it didn't happen, and I needed a break on it anyway. So I put it aside to do that ginormous wrap. But my problem with this project is I can only work on it for a little while because it's literally heavy, like heavy weight, because it is bulky, but so it kind of pulls down on the needles when I'm knitting, and I do find that my hands get a little bit sore. I'm almost there. I probably have just a few inches or a couple inches on the ribbing on the body, and then I have to do a button band. So I will get this done, but I'm leaving it in timeout for the moment. By the way, this is Expression Fiber Arts, and this is her DK base, her Dewey DK base. Let's get a focus. Anyway, it is 70% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and 10% silk. Squishy. All of her yarns seem to be so beautifully soft and squishy. So this would make a really nice pair of socks. Let's see. And yeah, it has the nylon content too, but boy, that would make a beautiful pair of socks. Maybe if there's some left over. We'll see. You know me and my DK. All right, let me see what else I got here. Sorry. Okay, my next project, I just cast this on after the wrap. That was a big project, boy. It really was. I said I was married to it. I wasn't kidding. So, all right, my next cast on is in a bag. This is cute. I can't remember if I showed this one before. This is from a Stitchy Girl Studio. She has an Etsy shop. No, about my focus. It's so cute. I love this because it's just perfect for a smaller project. Okay, so I am doing a cowl. It's called Trisha's Garden. The fingering weight. I thought this was so pretty. One of the things that I really liked about it is the fact that when it comes down, it spreads out over your neck a little bit, so it's not all crunched up. I'll put a better picture in if I can find one. So this pattern requires 3 different needle sizes. It is a paid-for pattern. But I did not have the smallest size, so I just cast on. It requires a 3, 4, a US 3, 4, and 5. And I did not have a 3 and a 16-inch round. Why? I don't know. Of every other size. But I don't know. It's probably in a project bag somewhere, right? But anyway, so I cast on with the size 4. Sorry, I'm a little tangled up here. And I just barely cast on. I cast on last night. But it's going to be so pretty. And this is my first time doing a red project. Red, I don't know. Red scares me because sometimes it can be like, I'm not a super bright person. I really do, you know, lean towards the muted and the soft and the fall and the autumn. As opposed to the bright in-your-face colors. So this is pretty nice. Yeah, and it's nice. I already like it. So I just have a few rows done on it. So the yarn I'm using is from Indie Yarn. And it is in her fingering base, which is merino, silk, and yak. 65, 20, 15. There's 438 yards to 100 grams. And it is the most glorious, soft, silky. You just can't even get it the feel for it. It is beautiful. This is the red ochre colorway. And I have spoken about her before. I can't remember what I did that I used her yarn in, but she's got some great yarn. And you can find her on Instagram, and she's got a website. I'll link her all down below. So anyway, this I think is going to be a gift. I'm pretty sure I'm going to give it to my sweet sister. And this is, it seems to be much brighter on the screen. It's really a nice muted, it's not quite that bright. It's hard to show. But anyway, so that is the last thing that's currently on my needles, unless there's something hiding in the closet, which we all know there could be, but I'm not going to go there. I also, last episode, talked about, I'm not going to show it, I talked about my Pure Local wrap, which was a Jill Zielinski design, and I was doing it in Plucky Knitter yarns, sport weight yarns, and I didn't get to touch that. Again, I was working on the wrap, which was so fun. All right, so anyway, let me see what else I got going on here. I do have a couple of things that I purchased, and the first one is a really fun book. I looked at it previously and just finally decided to purchase it because you guys know that I really like self-striping yarns. So here's the book. It's called Knit Happy with Self-Striping Yarn, and it's by Stephanie Lutman of Telly Bean Knits. And I just liked these mitts. The construction is really unusual on them, and I don't think you struggle so much with a thumb gusset. I don't know. I haven't really investigated it all that much, but it gives you some great ideas on. Look at that. That's a great cowl. Great different ways to use your self-striping. His hat. So several really good patterns. Look at this wrap. This is kind of cool. Yeah, that's nice. I think I'd be wrapped out by now. These mittens, just some really unique things to do, and it educates you about the different amounts of stitches per stripe. Like a fingering and a DK and a sport, they're all different amounts, and I'm just learning a little bit more about it. So I haven't dove into it as much as I would like, but I'm gonna get into it and see if I can't make something out of it. So that was one purchase. Okay, and this next purchase, I saw, I think I got sucked into Instagram, is something that I'd like to get on the needles. And I think it's going to be a great gift knitting. And this is the Cypress pattern from Heidi and Lana. By Margaret for Heidi and Lana. Yeah, Heidi and Lana, they're really sweet. If you don't follow them on Instagram, I will link them down below, but you really should. So she had an Instagram post, and it had the her yarn, and it had the set of minis kit to make those. And those are little coasters. And I just thought that they would be really, really, really sweet for gift knitting, right? Look at these colors. So this is on her Homestead DK base. It's 100% merino. So it's a more rustic wool. Oh, I just thought they were the cutest thing. So I don't know when I'm going to cast those on, but oh, I just love them. Yeah, I like it when people do kits like that because, I don't know, I'm a one-stop shopper. Here's her card. And I like to be able to have everything together. The pattern does not come with it. I did purchase the pattern separately on Ravelry, but yeah, it's just the cutest thing. Oh, I can't wait. So those should be fun. They should be pretty easy, I would think. And a little bit of color work, which I haven't done a whole lot of, so I need to get practicing on that. So, all right, let me see what else I have here. So last weekend was the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival, and I had no intention of going because, you know, I'm heading to Rhinebeck and I'm trying to save my pennies and be good and whatever. So anyway, it was the husband's fault, and I will just lay the blame on him. He was the one that said, "Oh, did you know the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival is this weekend? We should go." I was like, all right. So away we went. It was last Sunday, and boy, it was the most beautiful, beautiful fall day here. And everything was just, the colors are just really starting to change, and the ride over was really, really nice. I will put in some footage. I got some footage of some pictures, I think, of some sheep and some alpaca, some llamas. But anyway, this is their brochure, and I like that at the bottom it says celebrating women in farming. Love that. So there were a lot of vendors there. I was really surprised. I did not realize that it was that big. It's in Turnbridge, Vermont. So needless to say, I got sucked in. My first purchase, which I had eyeballed this at the New Hampshire Sheep and Wool Festival, is from a company called Brown Bunny Pottery. I don't know if that's focusing. And it is, oh no, oh my gosh, I can't even. It's a mug. Look at it. I had this in my hand at the New Hampshire Sheep and Wool Festival, and I was like, So I decided to spring for it, and so happy I did. Really nicely made. And they're at almost all of the sheep and wool festivals. They have all kinds of faces on them. They have sheep and goats. I don't know. There's all kinds of them. There's bowls and mugs and pouring pitchers and dishes, and they do such a nice job. So I was very, very happy to get this finally. Also, I didn't put anything in it because I'm pretty sure I would have spilled it on camera. All right, let me see. The next thing that I purchased is from a company called Nightingale Fibers. And it is on their 80% baby alpaca and 20% silk sport weight yarn. And it's this beauty right here. 287 yards on this. So I asked her about socks because it's an alpaca and I didn't really know. She said that you could do socks. She said she didn't know how long they would last, but that the silk content obviously helps that somewhat. So I don't know. I think I probably will. I'll probably do a set of fingerless mitts. But this is so soft, and the colors, I love them. So yeah, Nightingale Fibers. This is the black and gold colorway. This is really pretty. It's got some deep dark burgundy and some gold and some dark black. Yeah. So, and that was $22, which I thought was really, it's 100 grams gain. I mean, it's, 287 yards. That's sport weight, but still $22. That was very, very reasonable. So yeah, that was another of my purchases. And then my final purchase, I really was well behaved. I could have done a lot more damage. If I wasn't going to New York, I probably would have bought a few more things. There were some amazing farms there and some amazing fibers and all the woolly stuff. Oh, and just the setting. I do have, like I said, I have some footage and I will put it in for you guys to see. But my next purchase is from Heirlooms, and it's yarn hygge. I hope you can see that. Okay, and are you ready? This killed me. Here it is. So I have purchased from her before, and this base is just crazy. I love these two colors together. You know, nothing like a good orange and a navy. So let me tell you about it. This is her yak silk merino. It's 60% superwash, 20% yak, and 20% silk. And so it is so drapey. And I do have some thoughts on it. I have a couple other colors of this too. This was, this was amber. And this is her navy her navy color. Navy. I love navy, but boy, I struggle to show it, don't I? And then this is her natural. There's no dyes on it whatsoever. Isn't that beautiful? So I did use this in one of my shawls, in my gradient shawl. I used it for the main color in between the contrasts, and it is so nice. So I don't know if it'll work. I haven't investigated it, but I think I want to do a Vertices United shawl from Stephen West. I've wanted to do that pattern for a while now, but I haven't really checked out to see what the requirements are, but I do have you know, I think I have a couple more colors that would complement this whole setup, and I have multiples of these two. So yes, this is beautiful yarn, and she does have an online presence, and I will link all the information down below. So, oh gosh, anything with that yak and silk in it is just, it's just nuts. So soft. So that was all the damage that I did. Pretty proud of myself because I really, like I said, I could have done a little bit more damage, but it was a pleasure just going and seeing all of the different vendors and animals, and it was the most beautiful day and a nice little day trip for my husband and I. So yeah, I was super happy that we went, and I was so thankful to him because he's always, he's such a good cheerleader. So, all right, so let's see what else. Well, we're heading to New York tomorrow, and I just can't wait. I think I'm probably a little apprehensive. I know that this is a big show, and there's lots of people, and crowds aren't really my thing. But the excitement around it is crazy, and hopefully I get to see some of those awesome podcasters. But I really am excited to go, so it should be a good time. And you know, if you get overwhelmed, you just back off and go find a bench and go knit for a little bit. But my husband's looking forward to it too. That guy will fill my bag for me. I have to keep him reined in sometimes, which is not a bad problem to have, but still, you know, I'm trying to be good about having some project thoughts in mind. Of course, you know, you can say that, and then you get there, and it all goes out the window anyway, so whatever. I'm just in it for the thrill of it anyway. All right, so I think I'm going to leave you here. I didn't expect to really be able to do a podcast before I left. I didn't expect to see you till I got back, but I didn't want it to be that long. So yeah, so I will put in some footage at the end of the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival. I hope everybody is well. I hope you're working on something awesome, and I will see you next time. Bye. I forgot one more thing. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like, thumbs up, and subscribe and all of that good stuff. I hope that you enjoyed it. I really do enjoy putting out this content, and you know, if you enjoyed it, jump on the bandwagon. Thank you.